Invitational Grand Finals here. Barcode taking on Emre.
Both smiling there. And who is going to go first? It is Barcode, but maybe Emre likes that. And he saw that. Emre looked at his starting hand and immediately gave it a nod of approval. And Barcode, though, immediately picking the Labyrinth deck.
This is actually pretty scary because if the Tenpai Dragon deck wins against the Labyrinth, Tenpai is out of the equation for when it comes to dealing with the Snake Eyes.
That is true. So we activate Lord. Oh, that's such a good card to have because Lightning Storm, Harpies, Featherduster, those are the cards so scary for the Labyrinth deck. But we have a way to protect against that now with the Lord of the Heavenly Prison saying that set cards on the field cannot be destroyed by card effects. That's massive.
Upstart Goblin will give another card to Emre here, as well as 1,000 life points to Barcode. We saw that happen in the first game between these two in the group stage, and it looks to be the case again here.
And definitely has to be said, Emre, an expert of the Labyrinth deck as well, has been playing that a lot too, so definitely knows how to do against it. But it's still a hard situation here to face with that Lord of the Heavenly Prison being revealed, just protecting Barcode set cards whatsoever.
Sky Striker Mecha Hornet Drone's going to be added to the hand here.
Yeah,
should
Emre's
be
just
an
trying to
easy
figure out a way.
token into a link into the Kagari eventually.
Yeah, but like all those cards that this deck is running, just against those set cards, they don't do anything. You can have Ultimate Slayer, you can have Forbidden Droplet, you can have the Sky Striker, Widow Anchor. There's no monsters currently for Barcode, so they don't do anything.
Sky Striker versus Labyrinth. I wonder who Ryan Yu is cheering for right now.
I think he has a clear preference there. I think at heart it's going to be the Sky Striker deck. But I mean, it's paired with Tenpai cards, so maybe it's a little closer in that particular comparison. I'm sure he's watching, and Emre right now is staring down those 4 set cards from Barcode, and Barcode chilling in his chair there, really.
Unable to do anything about those 4 set cards thanks to the Lord of the Heavenly Prison. Did hear an activation there. Looks like it will be the Kagari effect. Does it resolve? It does. And it adds back the Hornet Drones of all of the options there.
Yeah.
I say all of the options. It was like 2 options, but still had a choice.
He did have a choice, and he did go for the Hornet Drones. But we saw that earlier. Like, the only real option as a link to go into for Emre is Hita, the Fire Charmer. But that one is not really too scary either. That's just providing you some attack points, but there's not even anything to crash into here in the battle phase. There's the Hornet Drones. Will provide us with another monster. But look at Barcode. He has never been chilling that much right now. He doesn't really see any danger out of this, and I kind of have to agree. Whatever Emre is doing right now does not look like it's threatening what Barcode has going on here.
Yep, as you mentioned, the Hita, the Fire Charmer Ablaze going to come out here, but there's no Ash Blossom in the graveyard. There's not much of anything to be taken here by it, and in fact, we will see the battle phase immediately entered here from Emre. Do we have a response from Barcode? Important to note is once these traps are flipped face up, no longer protected by the Lord of the Heavenly Prison.
That's true. So I don't think you really mind the 1,850 here. It's becoming interesting as soon as Emre also has Sang and Kaim in here. Otherwise, you're totally fine with the situation. Take the damage. I like it. And Emre is done with his battle phase. Look at this. Barcode did not flip a single trap card here, and still Emre only did 850 points of damage.
So we saw Barcode play it slow against Colossus Snake Eyes deck earlier, but I think you don't have that luxury against Tenpai Dragon. They explode the game in a single turn, and you have to match that pace. But here comes simultaneous equation cannons to actually run interference on this Hita.
I don't know whether it's actually going to resolve. I think what Barcode's main priority is here at the moment, he just wants to activate the Lord of the Heavenly Prison in the hand, and that goes with any kind of trap card activation. So you can always activate the simultaneous equation cannon, but you don't have to resolve it then afterwards. There you go, just banishing cards, not banishing any cards on the field though. Lord of the Heavenly Prison activates, and the good thing is, yes, the protection is gone now, not that important in the end phase anymore, but we do get to set another card from our deck here.
That's true, and once we have access to the likes of your Big Welcome Labyrinth, your Welcome Labyrinth. It does mean we can maybe push for game next turn, which is exactly what Barcode needs to do against the Tenpai Dragon, because turn 2, very much like turn 4, is Tenpai Dragon breaking the field, attacking directly, synchro summoning, all of that. But Barcode, can he end this game here? He has 3,000 attack on the field right now. Can he get a little bit more? Welcome Labyrinth does come out.
I think it's good from Emre's side that he did pass on that Hita, because if now Barcode wants to destroy the Hita, he will still have to deal with the Genroku eventually coming out of it. And on the other hand, if Barcode just finds a way into Big Welcome Labyrinth, I think we're going to have the same situation developing again, because Lord goes back to the hand eventually. You can activate the Lord of the Heavenly Prison again, and then you would be safe once more. Okay, we do take the chance of attacking over the Hita the Fire Charmer, so this could be Genroku coming out of this. No response, apparently.
1,500 or less defense from the deck to the hand, and it will be the Genroku. And adding it to the hand does mean we can special summon it. It will mitigate some of this damage, and it will potentially offer us the opportunity to extend further. Quick Effect can tribute it, can summon something else.
Alright, attack declared from the lady. So Barcode right now declaring attacks, which could be useful in the end for cards such as the Sengenpai Bident Dragon or the Transcendent Dragon. I feel like we could just go for Chandra here right away. Maybe Pydra to just have some follow-up for the next turn already. Both options seem pretty viable. Or just go for the Fadra instead, as Fadra, of course, when bringing back the Genroku, provides us with no battle destruction for the rest of the turn, as long as that card is face up and not negated, of course.
Yeah.
So, Barcode contemplating. Are we going to continue attacking? We do. Okay, yeah, that's not much of a result there from the Lady Labyrinth attacking into the Tenpai Dragon Fadra. Sitting there in defense position like a wall. Does Barcode have Big Welcome Labyrinth here is the big question. Not yet. Okay. I think we really want to make sure to get that Lord of the Heavenly Prison back into our hand, as that card is doing so much for you to protect from Feather Duster, from Lightning Storm, and all those kind of cards. Lightning Storm, little less of a concern, of course, right now, as the Fadra now is on the field. Still, though, I think against the odd chance of the Harpiest Feather Duster, you really want to make sure to get that card into the hand.
Yeah, definitely just super, super valuable to have Lord of the Heavenly Prison protecting these face-down traps. Some of them could be spells, but probably
very
traps.
unlikely.
It's Labyrinth.
I don't know.
Yeah, again, though, we're kind of approaching a very difficult territory of that turn 4. Even turns for Tenpai, always very scary, giving them another battle phase. Here comes the Lady Labyrinth effect chained on top of the destructive Daruma Karma Cannon.
That's a good card to have. Dimensional Barrier in this deck. You are able to search it or set it directly from your deck, but afterwards just passing it over. The Lord stays on the field and not in the hand. Therefore, now a face-down monster. So Lightning Storm could be activated onto this, as we just did the trick here for Emre. It is the Harpiest Feather Duster, though. I told you we were... Okay, Solemn Judgment was sitting there all the way through. We were not worried about that.
I'm used to normal traps in Labyrinth. Counter traps are also a little bit valuable if you can access them. Much harder to actually get into the hand than the normal traps, but hard drawing Solemn Judgment this time around. Really, really good for Barcode here. Does offer insurance against the Harpy's Feather Duster, but can it protect against Tenpai Dragon Chandra as it now hits the field?
I mean, we could possibly just go into a Black Rose Dragon here, but Black Rose Dragon, of course, with the Dimensional Barrier being set, would also be a little problematic, as that kind of just negates it. Okay, we do see the Synchro Summon in the main phase. I think we're going to have the good old Black Rose Dragon here trying to diminish that field. Nope, it is just Sengenpai Bident Dragon.
You had me excited then for Black Rose Dragon, but Solemn Strike immediately running interference on that special summon. We said just then, counter traps can be so valuable but so hard to find in this deck, but Barcode hard drawing 2 of them here and using them at exactly the right time.
Ooh, Sky Striker Maneuver Afterburners would be such a great card right now if you could also target face-down monsters, but it only works on face-up monsters, and therefore not a card that Emre can activate, and we have to go into defense mode, I kind of want to say here on Emre's side, is he's just setting cards, which is really not what the Tenpai Dragon deck tries to do.
You
So
are
the
not
combination
gonna
of
win.
Solemn cards was it here really for Barcode?
You are not going to win the set cards game against Labyrinth.
Nope, not really. And even a possible Widow Anchor. When we flip up that Lady Labyrinth in a second, we cannot even target it, as we do still, of course, have set cards there on the field. So
Importantly, don't quite have 6,850 on the field right now, so could very well mean Emre gets another turn here.
which would be crucial, because giving Tenpai another chance to just have that impactful turn, I feel like Barcode really wants to make sure to possibly end it this turn. Does he have a Welcome Labyrinth? Does he have a big Welcome Labyrinth? Those would be the cards possibly making the difference here. Attacking now with the Lord 2. And he does also give him some more damage. Now still in the battle phase. Maybe a big Welcome, maybe a regular Welcome Labyrinth. No, Barcode lacking those, but setting another card. Emre, though, doesn't matter really how many life points he has, as long as he can get himself out of this again.
Turn does change to Emre. We said Tenpai Dragon on even numbered turns. Very, very scary, and does potentially have a way to deal with these spell and trap cards. Sky Striker maneuver afterburn is now going to come out. Target the Lord of the Heavenly Prison. Do we have a response from Barcode? Is there possibly a response from Barcode? Dimensional Barrier still makes this Tenpai Dragon deck really, really suffer.
I mean, I think you have to activate the Dimensional Barrier here, because otherwise the Sky Striker maneuver afterburners with 3 spell cards in the graveyard will just be able to destroy one of the cards in the spell and trap zone from Barcode. Therefore, they know where the Dimensional Barrier is, so they would probably just go after that one. Therefore, good decision from Barcode to rule that chance out of him destroying it, and immediately now also chaining the Lady Labyrinth off the silver card. So getting another trap card, maybe another Dimensional Barrier even. Let's see
Different
what we're
name.
going for.
Has to be a different name, so I assume it will be another Welcome or Big Welcome.
Yes, finally a big Welcome Labyrinth indeed. So, which one are we going to destroy here? Which one are we going for? We are going for Anti-Spell Fragrance, who has... Anti-Spell Fragrance has been chilling there, not even activating it in the draw phase, funnily enough, interestingly enough.
Going to take control.
Oh, life
of
points
this.
are
Here
low.
is another Solemn Judgment. We said counter traps can be so valuable for this deck, but you have to manually hard draw them from the deck, and that's exactly what Barcode did here. He got Solemn Judgment, he got Solemn Strike, and he gets another Judgment on top of it. I said earlier I love trap decks because I love Dynamorphia. 1038 as a number is
You
still
don't see
weird.
that every day. You definitely don't, especially not with the Labyrinth deck. And Emre does have the Forbidden Droplet, but how does that help you right now? Sending the Cult by the Grave? Okay, okay. We know the last card set for Barcode is a card that he cannot activate this turn. Emre, does he have a normal summon here?
So the effect of the Lady Labyrinth is turned off right now, but what does Emre have to follow up on this?
Battle phase. Oh, there's a Kaiman. There is a Sungin Kaiman! Oh my.
Kaiman will start things off for Emre. You have the addition of the Pydra. Pydra can then be summoned. Where do we go with the summoned Pydra? Keep in mind that this middle trap was set this turn. It's the big Welcome. It can't be activated right now. This was a hard-fought game. It's not over yet. 850 life points for Emre, 1038 for Barcode.
I mean,
I'm sure Emre can push 1038 points of damage.
I don't
in
think he
this
can
turn.
do this turn. How would he do it? Because we already activated Sengen Kaiman. Setting Sengen Summoning also doesn't do anything. So I think we're going to still not end it here. 838 is now the current life point.
Emre ahead by 12.
What is going on here in our first game of the finals? Very much deserved to be the finals here. But Barcode, now with the luxury of having finally that big Welcome Labyrinth on the field.
Yep, big Welcome Labyrinth online, and could very well welcome a monster that can deal the needed 850 points of damage just by attacking over the Pydra.
So activated here, of course. Emre not really with a response. It's not bad to have that Sengen Kaiman set in the spell and trap zone, because it definitely grants you some protection on your turn. On your opponent's turn, because right now the Pydra looks kind of dangerous to be there in the attack position, but together with the Sengen Kaiman, bring out another monster, possible synchro summons and stuff like that, Does not sound that bad, but there's Welcome Labyrinth now activating as a monster left the field because of a trap. I think this is where Barcode probably just runs away with it, to be honest.
Lady Labyrinth added back to the hand, going to special summon itself in defense position here. Still got one unknown card in the hand of Barcode, but ultimately it's just going to be another trap. It's going to be another face down here, and this should go promptly to the end phase for Barcode.
850 to 838. Can Emre sort out that battle damage here, or is Barcode still holding on to it? What could be a draw here? Sangen Kaiman, first of all, being activated.
In the main phase.
Indeed. I mean, the problem right now for Emre is we have already been through through Fadra. We have already been through Chandra, meaning there is not that much value here in terms of main deck Tenpai monsters in there anymore.
Theoretically, you add Genroku and then summon Genroku?
As a tuner. That's what I would expect as well, so because that gives you access to the Biden Dragon, which can then bring back Fadra or Chandra. So I feel like that's very much what you're trying to do here, but instead...
Look at another Pydra.
Pydra it is. This is good though, because Pydra gives us access, of course, to then the Sengen Summoning, and Sengen Summoning can still give us Vegan Roku, but all of our plays then are even protected by the Sengen Summoning. Therefore, I think very smart and heads-up move here by Emre, going down that route. And if Barcode wants to deal with this, I think he will have to chain to it, but he doesn't chain to it at all, actually.
And this game was so back and forth. In fact, it's still so back and forth that I'm hesitant to say that Emre can win it here. Granted, it does look pretty good. Sangen Summoning going to hit the field uninterrupted. It's going to activate its effect. The battle phase calls for the Tenpai Dragon here.
So we have to search for that Tenpai Dragon Genroku here. Making it a tuner, making it level 4, finally giving us a way into our extra deck again.
Suddenly, that Kiki Nagashi Fucho tech in the extra deck probably won't do a lot if Emre is not playing Tenpai for the foreseeable future anyway.
Very true. Barcode. Does he have... There's not really something you can do about this, I feel like. What could be the set cards here? Something really solid could be a dimensional barrier, of course. That would just not be solid. That would just be very strong. Okay, that is something good too, though. Big Welcome Labyrinth. Now in the graveyard can be used as you have a face-up level 8 or higher Fiend monster to go after any card on the field, any face-up card on the field, and bring it back to the hand here. So Sangen Summoning not resolving. Plan was good by Emre, but doesn't work out in the end. Link 2, is that a Hita again? Oh, we just go for seals. All right.
Heretic Seal of the Heavenly Spheres, of course, going to come out.
Man, this is a wild game for the first game of the finals, to be honest. Both players had already a really tough encounter in the group stages where both of them basically played down to the last seconds of their timer, eventually seeing Emre timing out in that match. But I'm sure they're really low on timer time here as well.
Hieratic Seal of the Heavenly Spheres, of course, it can bounce one card, but unfortunately only during your opponent's turn.
Nicely, though, does not target, therefore can interact with the Lady Labyrinth, even though they are set cards. Now, though, in the end phase, though, I can see Barcode activating the Welcome Labyrinth, which he dares. What are we going to summon here? I'm wondering whether he even plays cards like Ariana and stuff. Oh, but now is where the value comes in.
Yeah.
More and more trap cards.
Another dimensional barrier, I presume.
Or maybe something to deal with the seal as well. Huh? We'll see. Barcode's certainly the one making the decision here. Dominus Impulse.
Okay.
I like it because that can actually deal with the graveyard effect of the seal. As that would special summon from the deck, of course. Lovely Labyrinth to the field as well now. This is looking solid here for Barcode.
Again, we said this game has been highly competitive. I previously mentioned I'd be hesitant to say that Emre was in a position to close it out, even though it looked really good for a brief moment. But it's been so back and forth. We're still at the 12 life points differential. We're still in this game from both sides here. Barcode, though, it's his turn. He's made it 9 turns against Tenpai Dragon, and he looks to be able to close it out in this one. Here comes Heretic Seal of the Heavenly Spheres.
In the draw phase. I have to giggle every single time you say life points difference of 12. That's just such an absurd thing to hear. But that is in fact here the scenario, the situation in our finals in game 1 of it. That's going to be hard to top in the remaining games that we're going to see, because this first game already offers us so much.
All of the games between these two have been great.
Absolute fun and entertainment for sure. Emre gets to resolve the Heretic Seals here. And it puts the Lady Labyrinth back into the hand, interestingly enough. Now we sure enough going to negate that seal in the graveyard, right?
I imagine so. We could theoretically...
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Dominus Impulse going to stop that from getting a further Tenpai Dragon, from getting Dora Dora, from getting anything done. Granted, you do lose access to Light, Earth, and Wind for the rest of the duel for Barcode.
Oh, what a bummer for the Labyrinth deck. Actually, though, the first time I think we see Dominus Impulse being activated this weekend, which is cool to see. We saw Josh, I think, discarding it once with his Blue Eyes deck.
Yeah.
Or no, rather with his Snake Eye Fire.
Yeah, I think
deck.
it does kind of ruin Blue Eyes.
Yes, yes, exactly. Now, though, the lovely Labyrinth activating. Getting the Dimensional Barrier back. There is Widow Anchor from Emre. Okay, okay.
Yep, you can take control of the lovely Labyrinth of the Silver Castle, but what will you do with it?
You could consider to chain the big Welcome Labyrinth in the graveyard here, though, if there is another one. Apparently there's not, though. Takes over the lovely. No Dimensional Barrier coming back here. Lady Labyrinth activating. So Barcode still sitting strong here with multiple monsters. One of them currently working for Emre. Okay, Welcome Labyrinth. Can we close it out here?
You very intelligently said multiple monsters and not 2 monsters, because it's about to become 3 monsters.
How many, like, is that just going... I think that's just going to be another Lady Labyrinth, if I would have to guess. Just more and more big attack point monsters, and Emre is just running out of Tenpai cards in his deck, to be honest. Like, there is not that many cards he can even get into, okay? We set another Dimensional Barrier. Noteworthy for sure that we're running so many copies of it, too. And what is the monster? Yep, just another Lady Labyrinth. Are we even going to attack over our lovely here? No way, right?
Very strong meta read from Barcode coming into this, though, because both decks are optimized to deal with Tenpai Dragon.
Oh,
you have Dimensional Barrier in this one. You have Kikinagashi Fucho in the Snake Eyes deck. Really great play so far from Barcode, but it's not over yet. Emre has come back from worse. He's got Sangen Summoning in his hand, ready to go as well. And Tenpai Dragon, can it make it happen this time around?
So that, of course, was a card that was known, as we just put it back into the hand of Emre in the last turn. But what could one Genroku do against all of this here, with not really any great targets for it remaining in the deck? I feel like normally Sangen Summoning resolving almost feels like winning the game sometimes. But here, it doesn't really feel like it can accomplish that much, to be honest. But let's see. Maybe Emre disagrees.
Adding a Tenpai Dragon from the deck to the hand, but not too many of those left, you have to imagine. Genroku going to be the dragon of choice here. Going to special summon itself?
First off, we need to discard something, and we're going to discard a Heavy Storm.
Okay.
Oh my. That's usually a card you want to activate against the Labyrinth strategy, but then we had no card to discard otherwise anymore for the Sangen Summoning, therefore we just have to give up on it here. Genroku activating, but as I said, like, what's even left in there? What is there even is? So, right now we see thoughtful thinking of Barcode, thinking about whether to respond here right away.
Careful not to think too much, because that was how we decided the group stage matchup between these two.
Very, very true. Level 4 Genroku.
I'm a bit concerned that we're not going to get much value out of this tribute for summoning one from the deck based on how many are out of the deck right now, but Dimensional Barrier going to keep the Synchros in the extra deck.
I don't even know whether there would have been a way into Synchro Monsters from Emre, but still can't hurt. And also, of course, gives us the chance to activate the Lady Labyrinth of the Silver Castle here with just another trap card coming Barcode's way.
Another Dominus Impulse, I imagine?
Yeah,
or
that would be a
something
solid
else.
one, I think. It is Torrential
okay.
Tribute. That's an OG card. What a flex here. In case Barcode cannot play his Labyrinth deck anymore if he wins this first game here. It's good that we saw the Torrential Tribute at least once here. I like it a lot. And now Emre into the main phase 2. That's what I thought. Okay. So we played with Barcode activating monster effects in the battle phase there so that our triple tactics Frost is live. What's left in there though? Right, Geki is. You gotta notice though, the Lady Labyrinths, they can't be destroyed by card effects, as we still, of course, have set cards here on the field. So yeah, we may lose that lovely Labyrinth, but we gotta keep the 2 Lady Labyrinths, and therefore we don't really care about that, right, Geki? Usually it is destroying the entire field. Here in that case, though, only a 1-for-1 trade. So it's looking marvelous for Barcode, who is going to go into his turn shortly. After now in the end phase, also resolving the trap trick here. Big welcome, Labyrinth. All right.
I'm surprised they had another big welcome in the deck to be able to set this. Just feels like we've seen so many activations of the welcome, the big welcome.
Very true.
Lovely Labyrinth of the Silver Castle coming back onto the field, going to add back the Lady Labyrinth.
And going to activate its effect. So this is a way of just making sure Genroku will also be destroyed. Even if we chain Genroku, the monster it summons out would immediately be destroyed. So this is the way to victory for Barcode. Gone is the last monster on the field for Emre. Plenty of strong attack points for Barcode though on the other hand. This would even be enough to go for 8,000 points of damage, and he only needs 850 here.
Barcode, after a hard fought back and forth, weathers the storm that is the Tenpai Dragon deck, gets all the way from turn 2 to turn 11, and he continues to just pressure his lead here to look to close this one out and to finally deal that 850 points of damage that was needed to close out game 1 of our grand finals.
So it is Barcode 1, World Champion Emre 0. So Barcode came into this tournament with confidence for a reason. As you said, his deck choices really made sense with the tech cards that he included against specifically the Tenpai Dragon strategy though. On the other end, we gotta admit, now there is probably not that much Tenpai going on anymore.
Yeah, exactly that.
Oh wait, no, I mean, he has to still win with Tenpai though if he wants to win the tournament, Emre.
It's true. But unfortunately for him, both of the decks brought by Barcode are optimized for that matchup specifically. Yeah. Granted, despite that, that was a very close game, even into a purposeful Tenpai counter. So, you know, credit to Emre where credit is due.
Yeah.
Now, Fiendsmith, Snake Eye, a definite comfort for Barcode, and it will be the choice in this second duel. Emre, on the other hand, now has the luxury of choosing between Tenpai Dragon or the Blue Eyes that we saw him defeat Josh in the mirror match with earlier.
So, it's a tough one to call here, but I feel like you may just probably pick the Tenpai Dragon deck here, because on the other hand, if you don't pick it here, your opponent knows that you will have it in the last and third game, and then of course they have all the luxury of sending the Tenpai Dragon Striker deck first, and therefore I feel like your best shot is just to bring it here, trying to win that second game, and then in the third game, probably, hopefully close it out with the Blue Eyes strategy.
Yep, I realize Emre's using 2 Dragon decks, by the way. Yeah,
he's a Dragon enjoyer for sure.
Graduated from the birds.
Yep, and that's just a natural evolution guide, right? But we are, of course, going to decide who is going to win that. I mean, the trophies, they are similar to each other, of course. Both have neons on them.
Yeah.
But the important part, and the part they really care about, is the prestige that goes with that #1 on one of them. And, of course, the title of them being the Invitational champion.
Indeed, we will decide first place here. We've had the first game of this final happen. We saw Barcode convincingly take it with the Labyrinth, but this time on Snake Eyes Fiendsmith, he's going to have to defeat Emre once more. Emre, Tenpai Dragon or Blue Eyes White Dragon, it doesn't matter. He has the choice of which he wants to take here, and it will be going second chosen for him here. And that will very likely mean Tenpai Dragon is the choice in this game.
Definitely is Tenpai. And you see Barcode giving up on Max C there, knowing that it's not the card you need against the Tenpai Dragon strategy anyways. And therefore, resolving Deception of the Sinful Spoils. Certainly more important, as that at least gives you, at some point, the Ilya Sylvia, which is quite a bit better against the Tenpai Dragon deck,
Yep,
of course.
Snake Eyes Ash going to add the Snake Eyes Poplar. The Snake Eyes starters are here in full force. Emre, on the other hand, presumably by choosing second, is on the Tenpai Dragon Sky Striker again, so there isn't much in terms of disruption, but rather removing a problem field from the get-go. Can we see that? Can we see Emre deal with the tech from Barcode here? 2 level 1s. Xyz immediately reads it as Tenpai Dragon and immediately goes into the Kiki Nagashi Fucho.
He lost that card. He brought that card for a reason, but there's nothing else to it. And I like this approach because, honestly, the last time he made the Fucho against Emre, he didn't really have that great of a follow-up, but this time he invested very little resources into it, and this card alone should, in theory, be good enough to win him this turn at least, to get him through this turn, and then, into the Void
and
from
then you follow
Emre.
up. But here, speaking of follow-up, is Into the Void, which is a full commitment if I've ever seen one. You saw when Emre used it into his matchup with Josh, immediately just set a complete spell and trap card zone of everything else in his hand to not have to lose it all. But facing down a Winged Beast, you know, Emre, we said, used to use Flanders, he used to be the one with all the Winged Beasts, but it is one causing a lot of problems right now. Destroy all monsters your opponent controls. Raigeki being used to try and force out the Kiki Nagashi Fucho's effect. Doesn't force out much of anything, just makes a nice lightning bolt on the field.
Looked cool, didn't do anything though. Now the call by the guy. I think Emre is desperately trying to bait out a monster effect here, possibly signalizing that he does have the Triple Tactic Talents, Triple Tactic Thrust, or something with the likes of that. We did get
He
some
wanted to load the
spell
graveyard
cards
with
into
spells.
the graveyard,
Yeah, okay.
indeed.
Just to try and draw an extra answer here.
Sky Striker, Mobilize, Engage. What is it going to get us? So that was Raigeki and the call by the grip. That still only was 2 spell cards, right? So we do not even get the extra draw here. As far as I'm concerned, Afterburners. Oh, we do get the draw. Okay, so which one did I miss? Obviously, the Into the Void started everything.
Yes.
So there was a third spell card in there, and there is another Sky Striker, Mobilize, Engage. So you could call this Engage into Engage here, which of course is quite what you want to see. You're trying to get those out there. And then we search for the Widow Anchor now as well.
Yep, Widow Anchor added to hand to follow up on the Afterburners that was also added. 6 cards in hand for Emre. Needs to use them all or will lose them all once the Into the Void resolves in the end phase. Now, thinking about what to do, the Afterburners does come out. Face-up monster on the field, Kiki Nagashi Fucho, shrugs it off, does not care, is unaffected. However, there is a Spell and Trap card that does look kind of tempting to try to remove.
Yeah, but I mean, the Afterburner only does that when
if
we also
get
destroy the monster, so it's one thing after the other. And there is the third Sky Striker, Mobilize, Engage. Emre has them all, but all the cards he got out of it did not really produce anything for him here.
Yep, he has all of the engages, but none of the tools with which to remove this Kiki Nagashi Fucho.
I mean, maybe he was hoping to draw into like a Kaiju or something, but I don't think he's running any of that. So he's just desperately trying to maybe find some defensive cards to stop Barcode on his next turn coming up. All right, there is now the Sky
Hornet
Striker
drones.
token being produced off of Hornet Drones. We make a Gari, so Emre, maybe for this second game, his challenge is just to resolve Engage as often as possible. I feel like we might add back the Hornet Drones here instead, though. Let's see which one it is that we target. And at this point, it also is pretty fair to say that Barcode does not plan on activating any monster effects here this turn.
Yeah.
He does not want to play into Triple Tactic Frost. He does not want to play into Talons either. That Fucho just sits there, chilling, not scared of anything. And that Afterburner, it tried destroying the Fucho once already, unsuccessfully, so Emre might try again. There now is the Tenpai Dragon Hydra. So
again, this is a full commitment from Emre. If he does not commit all of these cards, he will lose them all. If he does not close it out in this turn, he will lose this duel. You have to imagine. Granted, we did see the previous one go to 11, so maybe we do have a comeback in the midst across a long and hard-fought one. But I think right now he's shown he's willing to commit. He's willing to do everything he can to close this one out, and he's willing to play Sangen Summoning, which, by the way, he drew and then added the Sangen Kaimen on top of it. So very much a few options on the table for Emre, even if he's not able to deal with Kiki Nagashi Fucho immediately.
Yeah, I think the game plan for the Tenpai Dragon deck changes drastically when you face a card like Kiki Nagashi Fucho, because all of a sudden you're not trying to win the game anymore, but instead, very untypical for the deck, you're trying to set up the best field possible to stop your opponent from playing, which is not how the deck really is designed, but sometimes it is forced to do that, as it probably is here. So the cards you're aiming to go for are most likely going to be the Transcendent Dragon and the Biden Dragon in the graveyard, so that you can just work with them on your opponent's turn then again when they start attacking, and also a possible Hieratic Seal, or even, what is this going to be? Let's just divide it in the main phase, probably. Yeah, that is just Sangenpai Biden Dragon. So yeah, we're just trying to set up, I almost want to call it combo field, even though that's not really what the Tenpai Dragon deck is. But for the moment, it is what it has to be.
Emre feeling the pressure for sure here, just off of the Kiki Nagashi Fucho. You know, there is kind of this expectation for him to carry on Josh's tournament hopes as well. You know, eliminating your teammate never feels good.
Yes.
You need to win it. You need to bring it back for the Snipe Hunters. But Barcode says no. Kiki Nagashi Fucho says no.
And Fucho, of course, also ignoring the command of Transcendent Dragon to put all of the monsters on the field into attack position. Not caring about it. On resolution, though, Barcode has now made the decision that he does want to activate the effect of Fucho. And I mean, yeah, it does make sense, because probably what Emre did here was just announcing that he wants to go into the battle phase.
Yeah.
And then the Fucho could have not been activated anymore due to the Transcendent Dragon. So makes sense that Barcode does it here. Does also mean, though, that Emre now will be able to activate both Triple Tactic Frost and Triple Tactic Talent. Which of those does he have in his hand? He does have the Triple Tactics Frost, of course, no surprise. He drew plenty of cards through those engages, so there should have been one of those, and there surely is, and now the Triple Tactics Talent is also there now.
Draw 2.
Or maybe just, I mean, drawing doesn't really give you that much, because you have to discard in the end phase anyway. So I think rather you look into the hand and take out something that is scary. And yup, Emre agrees. We all get to see the hand of Barcode. Maxi, not too scary, but there are some other scary cards. I think it is between 1-for-1 and Original Sinful Spoils here. And I feel like Original Sinful Spoils may be the more scary one, because 1-for-1 at least requires you to have another card invested. And so that's easier to deal with, as they invest 2 cards into 1 card, and then a Widow Anchor on the monster summoned out could be good here. So I feel like Original Sinful Spoils really the card that you are concerned about most here. But let's see what the decision of the world champion, of course, is, because he's the one looking at this hand there the most urgently at the moment. And it is the 1-for-1 instead. Okay, I see. All right, and we're disagreeing. And Barcode, he did not do much on his first turn, only summoned the Fucho basically, ready to have a powerful turn 3. But now it is Sangen Kaimen in the battle phase from Emre. As said, he's just playing it as a combo deck here. He's trying to summon out as many monsters as all the cards otherwise in hand would have to be discarded in the end phase due to Into the Void resolving. So, Chandra, another monster will be summoned. It's going to be interesting to see, though, because that Kagari there in the extra monster zone, how do we get rid of it? Because you want to summon that Hieratic Seal into the extra monster zone. Probably Promethean Princes, but we're locked into dragons here. Therefore, that's not even an option anymore.
Couple of attacks do connect. We could very well see the Synchro Summon, but before then, Biden.
Biden Dragon, indeed. Using the effect not only to summon it back, but also to destroy the Deception of the Sinful Spoils here. Pydra, Synchro Summoning. Is there maybe something like the good old Ruddy Rose Dragon in his extra deck, which could possibly clear up the graveyard? Nope, it is just Trident Dragon instead.
Okay.
That's a powerhouse in terms of
That's
attacking.
the way to get rid
but
of the Kagari from the
indeed,
extra
and that's
monster
probably
zone.
the main reason why we summoned that card here. Yeah, it can attack 3 times into the Kagika Nigachi Fuchu there, which is not going to help though. Okay, Transcendent Dragon also immediately
going to
coming
destroy
back,
the Poplar in the Spell and Trap card zone as well.
which does make sense. Would have been a free card to send off of the original Sinful Spoils remaining in the hands of Barcode. But that's also now, as both the Biden and the Transcendent are once per duel, now meaning that he can't use it on the opponent's turn anymore. Going into the Heretic Seal. Alright. We can't clear up the main monster zones here either, so possible Widow Anchors not able to activate here anymore due to us having monsters in the main monster zone. Alright. Something that some people sometimes forget though is Heretic Seal does not have to tribute itself. You can also tribute monsters from the main monster zone or from the hand even. Therefore, we'll have to see. But that could only clear one of them. Therefore, you would still be left with one. It's an interesting situation for sure. Barcode.
Original
Fucho
Simple
done.
Spoils, Snake Eye, and Maxi are in the hand. And
We do
one
start
Azamina
Deception.
continuous spell as well. I think the Hallowed Azamina.
Yes. Hallowed is also waiting already to be activated. And we do immediately go for it. The Hallowed Azamina with the face-up Deception of the Sinful Spoils on the field can bring out either Ilya Sylvia or Murcielago. Which one is it going to be? It is Azamina Murcielago. Emre, you really see. I think Emre's turn took such a long time, so he must be low on timer time here again. But for now, probably not his main concern as Barcode has summoned a first monster here with the Murcielago searching for Wanted. And Wanted, of course, is our way into the also powerful Black Witch. And I mean, we have the option to immediately go into an SP Little Knight here, honestly, to be fair. Trying to go after those set cards before anything else. Yep. That is a Link Summon.
And with the fusion component, it does mean we get the additional banish.
And it
Those
is
are not the
Moon
Link
of the
arrows,
Closed
though.
Heaven, though.
Yep.
Fair enough, fair enough. That is a card, though, I gotta say. Seems like a prime target for me to be getting back into the extra deck with the Heretic Seal of the Heavenly Spheres, and that is what Emre agrees with. So we do not get value off of it, but maybe... Okay, yeah.
So... We lost the face-up card to send for the original Simple Spoils Snake Eye, but we can still use the Wanted to get Diabell Star and then work something out there. Maxi in hand still, by the way.
Maxi... Actually, you're right. Maxi is in hand, and we did not activate it on the graveyard effect of Heretic Seal there. We could have turned that into a different card, but decided not to do so. Now that the Murcielago, though, is in the graveyard, linked off for the Moon of the Closed Heaven, we can activate the Hallowed Azamina in the graveyard, returning Murcielago to the extra deck, and also returning the Hallowed Azamina into the hand there. Activating it, meaning we can bring out Ilya Sylvia now if we like. Yeah, that gotta be our protection here with the Ilya Sylvia. Chaining Wanted, Seeker of Simple Spoils, of course, though, making sure that we get that extra card here out of it.
Yep, Wanted Seeker of Sinful Spoils going to add the Diabell Star, the Black Witch.
And now, that's so good with the Hallowed Azamina. Like, when you chain a quick spell to it, it can still, on resolution, send it, even though it already did its duty of searching and resolving. But still, you get to basically fusion summon for completely free there with Azamina Ilya Sylvia getting summoned here coming out of the Hallowed Azamina.
Yep, access to a negation if needed. Here's the banish of the Wanted to get a draw.
Yeah, so Emre had full knowledge for Barcode's hand at the beginning of the turn, but then they drew a card for turn, they now drew a card with Wanted as well. Therefore, information for Emre is somewhat limited at this point. And how
I do
are we
wonder
going
if
to
we're
go?
keeping the Maxi for a normal summon to that. Speaking of normal summons, by the way.
Normal's the Snake Eye Oak, and there is a target in the graveyard still to bring back.
Poplar.
It is the Poplar. It could also be the Snake Eye Ash, but Snake Eye Ash does not have a target to search for anymore. I mean, Poplar possibly does not even either, but he does have that powerful graveyard effect later on. Again, do we play the Temple? We do apparently play the Temple. Snake Eye Temple will be searched here off of the Snake Eyes Poplar. There it is, the Divine Temple even. So both players now with a field spell on the field. But what yeah, that should be Diabellstar Snake Eye here. Or Snake Eyes Diabellstar, the other way around. So it's looking good here for Barcode, getting more and more monsters onto the field. And you gotta imagine that those set cards for Emre, there are Widow Anchors, which he cannot activate while controlling monsters in the main monster zone. So it's a tough situation to be in for Emre right now, while Barcode is just establishing more and more and more monsters, now going for Linkuriboh as well.
Yeah.
Poplar activating too. I mean,
so we do have access to Snake Eyes Doom Dragon now as well, if necessary.
How impressive would that be if Barcode would just overcome the world champion that Emre is here with a 2-0 victory in the finals? That would be really, really...
Would be 3-0 against him across the tournament as well. And just show that he has the number of these Tenpai Dragon duelists.
And that he does also have all right to be very, very, very... like, he came into this saying, I will win this.
Made it out of the group stage, but
confident. I was searching for the word of confidence. He was so confident, yeah. And he was rightfully so confident as he's very, very much getting closer and closer to winning this year.
Not quite over yet, though, as we do have Moon of the Close Heaven now linked off into the Fiendsmith aspect of this deck. Still, the game is not over. We still have an opportunity for Emre to come back. You said Widow Anchors firmly offline. But can Barcode create something that can actually get over this Sangenpai Transcendent Dragon by the time he enters his battle phase?
I'm sure he can, but I mean, the moment he starts getting those monsters off the field, of course, that also equally means that he will have to then deal with the Widow Anchor, because then the field will be free of monsters. Okay, we do now have the Requiem equipped to the Fiendsmith Engraver. I'm sure we would be using it here, but no, first of all, we go Snake Eye Oak.
Yep, Oak now being used, but Called by the Grave going to stop that. It's going to run interference. And
that's a good card to resolve, though. So I think we want to make sure that it does resolve, and therefore we protect it with the Azamina Ilya Sylvia.
Yep, the Ilya Sylvia negate, of course, just being once because you've tributed it, but it does work out in the end. Oak does resolve. Oak does start another combo for Barcode. Snake Eyes Flambear's Dragon now hitting the field. It has 3,000 to rival the Sangenpai Transcendent Dragon, but I don't think Barcode is done there.
I think we may see the Flambear's Dragon putting that Transcendent into the Spell and Trap Zone, but first we see the Diabellstar of a Black Witch. We can still set another card from the deck. Which one is it even going to be? Probably just another Deception of the Sinful Spoils. That indeed it is. Not really going to do too much here. Now the Fiendsmith Engraver. Which card are we going to send to the graveyard? Is it going to be the Fadra? Because Fadra protects everything here from being destroyed by battle, and indeed it is. Fadra gone. Now the Flambear's Dragon clearing the Transcendent as well.
Yep.
That leaves them with a 0 attack point Pydra there.
Still not 8,000, but still not done for Barcode here.
And also, of course, even though Pydra on 0 attack right now, no battle damage when you attack over it. Therefore, even more damage that Barcode has to produce to even get to the 8,000.
Yep, Fiendsmith sequence.
I mean, if we go into his favorite Fiendsmith extra deck monster, which is clearly Fiendsmith's Desiree, as he has been summoning that all day long. He could negate the Pydra, and he does go for free materials, and therefore Fiendsmith's Desiree once more. So that is, in fact, producing damage over the Pydra.
You can negate the Pydra, you can negate the Sangen summoning. You have a lot of opportunities here available thanks to the Fiendsmith Desiree. But the Link summons continue. Promethean Princess Viscera Flame's just going to add another 2,700 on top. I think we're close to the 8,000, yeah. Oh, okay. Yep, so it brings back 2. And then the Promethean Princess will bring back another on top of that. This is well over 8,000, and this should be Barcode well on his way to closing it out and claiming first place
look like
this
that.
event.
And I don't even think we need to use the Fiendsmith Desiree on the Pydra, because we can still go for damage after destroying that by battle without battle damage, and then save the Desiree for a potential Widow Anchor that is still waiting there. Barcode's turn has taken a while though, and we have seen him before passing in the battle phase without attacking because of his timer being so low. Does he have enough time here to head into the battle phase and execute those attacks? But he needs to win this. Oh, we are using the Fiends of Desiree here, okay, to negate our very own Promethean Princess and the Sengen summoning instead. Okay.
Yep.
That is interesting. Because we, sure enough,
so I imagine the Sengen summoning was protecting the Hydra from the...
no, only on your own turn, actually.
Oh, okay, yep.
So we go into Appaloosa here, attacking over the Hydra. Now we will have to deal with the Widow Anchor, though. I don't think this is going to be enough, honestly. Emre, we can't target the Desiree, but we can just take over the Flamberge Dragon here, if you ask me.
What
is that even 8,000, by the way?
Is it even a Widow Anchor?
Is it even a Widow Anchor is another good question, though. You're right. That is 58. That's 78. I mean, Emre can just take this. This is not game. This is 200 off. Emre realizes, therefore knocks it off. Says, I've been winning games before. Oh, Linkariba though. Okay,
300 damage differential.
Enough damage.
We make it.
Well planned by Barcode, actually, because I have forgotten about that one, and maybe Emre has too. Is it Linkariba for game? 300 attack points. All he needs to... Oh, yeah, it was the Widow Anchor.
Okay. Good force from Barcode there. Scarily close for Emre there. Barcode not quite able to close this one out quite yet, though. Snake Eyes Flamberge Dragon does change sides. Emre, you have one turn. Not too many Tenpai Dragons left in the main deck, though. What can be done? Special summoning back the Sangenpai Transcendent Dragon.
But is negated though due to the Widow Anchor, of course, taking control of it. Oh, but still, look at it. It was an absolute bait. This card was negated. Still, it baited Barcode into activating the Appaloosa there. Gave up on one negation of it. And Sengen summoning now ready to fetch any remaining Tenpai Dragons.
How many Tenpai Dragon are remaining in the deck though?
I think, did we go through Fadra? I feel like, let's check the graveyard.
Actually, maybe...
no, Fadra is in the graveyard, so you're right. There's not much left in the graveyard at all.
I was going to say maybe last game's Tenpai Dragons have, blended into my brain for this game's Tenpai Dragons, but I guess not. Emre still has Dragons in the deck, but actually now we have an interruption there. The triple tactics thrust. Going to get a
something. This could be a Raigeki once more, maybe a Darkle or something like that. And Barcode, he has invested quite a bit of resources into that last turn, so just getting rid of everything here could be crazy. But first of all, triple tactics talents will be added to the hand. Now Droll and Lockbird, meaning we can at least not draw with the talents anymore.
Yep.
And I think, honestly, drawing was the plan with that talent, to be honest. To be completely realistic here, Emre thinking this through. If we take something here, it's tough, honestly. Talents will have to
Can we take the Flamberge and then perhaps just bring back the Sangenpai Transcendent Dragon?
Yeah, that's probably pretty good. But we can only bring back monsters in our opponent's turn, though. So yeah, it would bring us back that card eventually. But I mean, the good thing about the Flamberge here is that it is able to attack over the Desiree. I think that's the main priority right now. And that is why Emre is doing that. And then, if he does have Typhon in his extra deck, I think Typhon afterwards would also be good. But
Zero would push this to game.
Not attacking over Desiree or Appaloosa at all. Now the Flamberge Dragon trying to put the Appaloosa back into the spell and trap zone will do so successfully. Or not, as Appaloosa negates it and stays on the field. But I think Typhon will be Emre's last resort here. We're going to see Typhon. Typhon will be able to deal with the Desiree as it does not target. There we have it.
Super Star Slayer Typhon Sky Crisis. Now, Emre's last resort. It should be able to buy at least one more turn. But here comes Sangenpai Transcendent Dragon to the field of Barcode.
Indeed. Temple, of course, can summon out cards from both players' spells and trap zones, and that is a card that immediately contests the Typhon. Bye-bye Desiree, but we have a monster big enough to attack over the Slayer now, and it is over to Barcode again. What is that last set card for Emre? Will it this time be able to protect him? Appaloosa now, pretty weak with 0 attack there, but Barcode certainly will have another monster here, right? Oh yeah, okay, of course. The Hallow Amina returning to the hand right away. Also recycling the Ilya Sylvia, of course. I mean, that alone is so good.
Yep, Hallowed Azumina, of course, going to have access to some of that extra deck Azumina monster as well, so it does mean there is going to be at least one more monster on the field for Barcode, and it should be the one additional attack needed to deal the last 100 damage after the Transcendent Dragon is done attacking over Typhon.
Zamina, Ilya, Sylvia is summoned. Do we just immediately head into the battle phase, or do we maybe also summon out the Maxi? Are we going to have it? Do we see Maxi for game in the deciding game of our Invitational here? That would be iconic. Not gonna lie. That is a way to end the tournament by attacking with Maxi for game, but I think Emre for now is thinking about something here.
I think he may have one more disruption available, but keep in mind that this Azumina Ilya Sylvia will be able to run interference on one.
That is true. So, we link off the Appaloosa here. What are we trying to go for here? Is that just Moon of the Closed Tavern? Okay. So Barcode says, we could have had it in style with the Maxi. I am going to do it with my Fiendsmith cards instead, though, going into Fiendsmith Requiem. And that is going to result in a Fiendsmith Engraver as well, who is just probably a safer way, to be fair, just immediately in the main phase, making sure that that Slayer goes into the Spell and Trap zone. Engraver, there it is. Requiem will be joining the Engraver on the field momentarily again. There it is activated. Yep.
Fiendsmith Engraver now, just continuing to bridge these combos into more and more monsters. Here's the removal of the Superstar Slayer Typhon Sky Crisis, but here is Sangen Kaimen.
We don't even need to use the negation of Azumina Ilya Sylvia. We have a different way of dealing with it, and Barcode now, with so little life points remaining on Emre's side. Barcode with his first appearance on an Invitational as the title champion, the title holder, the winner of this Invitational here.
Barcode in a clean 2-0 has won in the grand final of the Invitational and has defeated Emre here, the Tenpai Dragon Slayer, Barcode.
We have our new champion for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel Invitational. It's Barcode! Barcode, lift your trophy, sir, because this is yours. Give it up for your champion! Okay. Now we're going to have a quick word, because that was a very long and hard-fought 2-0, though. So that's pretty impressive against a world champion. How do you feel?
Well, he was amazing. I misplayed a lot, but in the end, I got a trophy, so that's the most important thing, right?
Absolutely, and you must feel great. That's a great trophy. Is that going to be pride place in your home?
Of course. It's going to be right behind me every time I stream, of course.
Excellent. That's what we like to hear. So with that, our 3rd anniversary Invitational for Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel has come to an end, and we have crowned a new champion.